Hi, this is Everett for Everett's Watercolors. Welcome to my classroom again. Today we're going to cover what I think is another important subject is, can I paint on watercolor canvas? Well, of course you can, but a lot of people haven't used watercolor canvas before. So I'm going to show you a little bit about some of the techniques that I've learned and demonstrate how it can be used so that you can enjoy some of the benefits of using watercolor canvas. So let's go to my painting board and I'll show you what I know. Okay, this is a canvas watercolor board. This one is made by Fredericks, which is one of the premium brands of canvases, both for acrylics and for watercolor. This is a new product. This is about 7 years old, and I started using it a long time ago when it first came out. But this is Fredericks Archival Watercolor Canvas Board, 8 by 10 piece of canvas. They also come in stretch canvas. This happens to be a 9 by 12. Now, some of the differences here right off the bat with canvas against, say, if you've been used to painting on watercolor paper. Number one, the paint stays a little bit wetter on canvas. And tip number two, you also have to use a little more paint because the canvas doesn't absorb the watercolor like watercolor paper. It sits on top and it has to dry. So when you put the stroke down, it'll stay wet a lot longer. Now, the other point I want to make out here is that when you're using watercolor on watercolor canvas, normally what I do and what the best advice to do is when you put the stroke down is to put down one stroke and let it dry. Because if you go back over and keep stroking the colors, it will start picking up the colors you put down before. So that's one thing. It's very easy to put down on canvas. It's also very easy to take off. So normally you have a one stroke application and then let it dry before you put a second layer on. Now, once it's dry, you can put another layer on top. Now, when you put the second layer on, you get usually one stroke. Otherwise, the second or third stroke may start taking the paint away. That's the only things you have to think about or practice when you do watercolor on watercolor canvas. Now, the other kind of benefit also is that it is very easy to correct. If I had an area that I wanted to change or remove, I would just wet that area with water and wipe it off, either with a tissue or a towel. Okay? So it's very easy to make changes on a watercolor canvas. Now here's an example of a very small little color study I did. I did this on location, sitting outside. This is in the winter time, but this was a small canvas painting on 8 by 10 canvas. This is another small painting. This is a 9 by 12 on that stretch canvas. I did also an on-location painting using this watercolor canvas. Now this piece of canvas here, 8 by 10 canvas, has got a little bit of history to it. This is one of the first ones that I had when the canvas came out about 7 or 8 years ago, and I started playing around with it and experimenting. And one of the things I realized that if I put paint down there, I could just take a wet cloth or a wet rag and I could wipe it off. So I left that there as a demonstration of what you can do with watercolor canvas. Now let me show you that lifting technique I'm talking about. Remember the lifting I did on paper last time, where I had to wet the paper, let it dry, and then scrub it with a cloth towel? Well, this one, all you need is a damp brush, and then you wet the area of the paper you want to move, and you take a tissue and wipe it off. Okay, that's how easy it is to remove or to lighten up a color on watercolor canvas. Just wet it with water and pick it up with a tissue. Now, once you've painted on watercolor canvas and you finished your painting, what you do then after it's dry is to finish it off. You use a fixative. Now here I have a product called Blair, which is a spray fixative. And there are other brands out there also. Krylon and Prismacolor and Golden also have them. So as long as it has a fixative on it, what it does, it will adhere to the canvas and will protect it from being damaged by water or anything like that. Now what I do is, and I do this in a ventilated area. Usually I do mine outside, outdoors, on a clear day. And I'll go out and I'll spray it very lightly once, let it dry. It takes about 10 minutes. Go back and spray it again. Let it dry again, another 10 minutes, and come back and do a third one. Usually about 3 light coats is all you need to do to protect your canvas. And then once it's dry, you can wipe it off with a damp cloth if it gets dusty, and that's it. And these are so easy. You can mount them on a little easel, or you can put a little mounting on the back, and they're ready to hang on the wall. So that's some of the advantages. You don't have to frame it or worry about putting glass on it or anything else. It's ready to go. So it's a very handy product for plein air projects or a small painting that you want to do for yourself or for a friend, and then have it hanging up the same day you finish. Well, that was an interesting little discussion about watercolor canvas. If you haven't tried that, you ought to try it at least once or twice to see how you like it. I really enjoy it. Number one, I do a lot of plein air, so the canvas is very convenient. It's lightweight, very efficient. It takes the paint very quickly, and it's easy to correct, especially if you're doing something plein air where you may have a correction before you finish your painting. I want to entertain any questions you have about watercolor canvas or any other techniques that I've discussed, and include them in your comments about what you like and what you'd like to see by me in the future. So subscribe to my channel so you can be informed and stay up to date on my latest output for questions and answers. They'll be coming down the road. So see you next time. Bye for now.